The two other horses in the field were sort of not very happy. They were actually just behind the gate, and they were sort of hovered by the gate. And there was a horse in a barn further away, about 150 yards, 200 yards away, and it was very distressed apparently. It's normally a very calm horse, the owner said, the site owner, not the horse owner, and it was trying to kick the door down in some sort of panic. So the other horses were obviously sensitive to something very unusual and disturbing going on, which spooked them. And we've heard of this sort of thing before, where other animals in close proximity, particularly the same breed of animal, are very disturbed about what's happening to their brother in the field. So,
and you know, hopefully, if there is a post-mortem carried out on the animal, you know, we'll get full visibility of the report.
Well, we'll hope so. Yes.
And there was one incident, I think, in the late 1990s, where there was, again, it was 3 horses in the field, which was the same, which was in Shropshire, I believe.
Yes.
And the MAF at the time turned up and removed the horse, so the owner wasn't allowed access to it. And we've been told that the police are here, but the owners are allowing us to have a look at it and film. So we don't know what they said to the police, but the police were apparently guarding the field yesterday and not allowing people to go near it. So probably being quite lucky to get to film it.
They were treating it possibly rightly as a crime scene.
Yeah.
But then there's nothing they could do, and we know it's very unlikely they're going to find the perpetrators. But they're going through the procedures, I suppose, which they have to do.
And obviously we can compare this to the characteristics found on mutilated horses dating back from as early as 1967, one that Linda Moulton Howe was involved with in the United States, and we see similar injuries to cases in the United States and in Argentina and other countries around the world.
Absolutely, yes.
So it's a truly global phenomenon.
Yes, the 1967 horse called Lady in the States had a very similar big neck wound, I seem to remember, from the images. So there's a definite pattern.
So it's very hard to believe that it's local nutters who are perpetrating such a crime.
Well, I mean, the first big problem you have is how do you restrain an animal of this size safely, you know, for a human being to do this sort of activity. So the horse would have to be inert and sedated in some way to carry out these sort of operational procedures. There's no way a person could, well, 2 people, you know, even if they put a rope round its neck to restrain it, you wouldn't be able to make such precision cuts with the horse jumping about.
And where the horse was situated, although it was a moonlit night, it would have been dark. There was no other lighting in that area, and very little road access actually to that field as well. Just one track leading up to where the stable was.
And again, it's a very hilly area here, and not too accessible. And as we're hearing vehicles coming up and down the tracks making lots of noises, and the owners who live in the properties quite close by never heard a thing.
Yes.
And the dogs, they've got lots of dogs in the house.
And the dogs were not roused at all.
No.
The landowners mentioned that a farm worker had told them about a UFO hovering over the valley some weeks previous to the attack. We've been informed of a UFO sighting which was observed just looking towards this valley here, and hopefully we're going to get to speak to the witness. We're just walking along a little bit further from where we were earlier to get a closer view of where this UFO was sighted. Just on a little track here. Right, I'm with Roger here, who's the chap who sighted the UFO a few weeks ago. Can you remember when it was, Roger?
It was about, it must have been 3 weeks ago actually. It was on a Saturday night.
Right.
And I was up the end of the 5 acres there. And this bright light come through the valley. And headed across. I thought it was a plane coming.
Right.
But when it got near me and just above me, it went a little bit further around over them trees there, then it stopped. See the trees in the valley there?
Yes. Where the vehicle is?
That's it.
Right, okay, those trees there, right?
That's right, that's it, yes.
Right.
It come and it's all lit up just above the trees, and it stopped over the sort of over the edge of the trees. It's quite a big ship. It is sort of round, but it was quite large.
Right.
But
bigger than a car, smaller than a car.
Yeah, no, bigger than a car.
Right. Bigger than a truck, sort of.
Yeah, about the size of a truck, I imagine. You see these lights up underneath of it. There was lights up underneath of it, and a very bright light, very bright light at the front. And because it went over top of me in a way. It went over top of me, you know.
Right. And did it make any noise at all?
Not at all, no.
And
all you had was sort of like a whistle noise,
right.
Sort of a wind noise. That's all you had.
Right. And when you left sight of it, where was it?
Well, it
way did it head?
It didn't move. It stayed above the trees. I was out in that field for quite a time, watching it, and it just stood there above the trees, like hovering, but it did not move. I didn't see it go because I left that part and come back down again.
Right. And how long did you sight it for?
Must have been at least 20 minutes.
Right.
20, yeah, exactly 20 minutes. I imagine 20 minutes.
Did anyone else see it?
I don't know if the campers see it. The campers were up there.
Right.
I just imagine they did see it. But,
okay.
I don't know what group it was now.
All right. And what time of night was this?
This was at it was 9:30. It was.
PM.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
All right, and Roger.
And it stayed there actually. Well, I was there, I don't know, 10 to 10 still, and it was still standing there then. It didn't go at all.
So it was sitting stationary in midair for most of the time?
Yes, it was.
Since giving this report, we have been informed of further UFO sightings in the same valley. Phil Hoyle, who has researched many cases of mutilated sheep in Wales exhibiting similar injuries to this horse, has filmed footage of UFOs in areas of high mutilation activity. This footage was filmed in Radnor Forest in early 2010 in an area where several mutilated sheep were discovered.
That's unbelievable brightness. Oh, and that looks like, oh gosh. Oh, that's like a reflection of something. It's like it's emitting spheres. And, oh, massive beams from the top of it. Massive beams. This is really weird. It's like there's things coming out of it. What the devil is it?
Fucking hell, that's bloody bright then. Look at that. Whoa.
Goodness me. Oh, there's beams firing all over the place. Look at this. But at times these beams, these lights are separating off, in my opinion.
Two there now.
Dr. Philip Duke, a researcher in the United States who has spent years researching similar attacks, has written a hypothesis of what he believes may be going on in such cases. He believes that these animals are being used to incubate certain antibodies which the perpetrators have a future use for. His hypothesis goes something like this. At some point in time before the mutilation attack occurs, an agency targets an animal to be used as an incubator. The agency injects the animal with an agent or virus which causes the animal's body to grow antibodies against the virus. The animal is electronically tagged by fitting an electromagnetic tracking device inside the jaw so that it can be relocated at some point in the future. Several weeks or months are allowed to pass while the animal's body fights the agent and grows resistive antibodies, which become resident throughout its blood and internal organs. The agency then returns at a later date to harvest the antibodies, which is the purpose of the mutilation attack. During this harvesting process, they kill the animal, remove its blood and certain organs which contain the precious antibodies, and before they depart, they remove all evidence of the tracking device by excising the jaw cleanly down to the bone. If this is not shocking enough, we come on to what type of antibodies Dr. Philip Duke believes are being harvested inside animals' bodies. He believes that HIV was introduced to the earth by an outside agent about 50 years ago. Before you dismiss this as fantasy, Dr. Duke cites that there are at least 3, possibly 4 different strains of HIV, which are all so different that none of them could have evolved from each other, and they all appeared simultaneously on Earth. How could 4 different strains appear at the same time if they have no obvious link with each other? This suggests that they could have been introduced by some outside agency. Dr. Duke states that his hypothesis is strengthened by the fact that the items removed by the agency are all HIV transference sites, i.e. soft tissue organs and the blood, in other words, the parts of the body that would normally carry the HIV virus. David Cayton and the Animal Pathology Field Unit are open-minded about all theories on the causes of these bizarre attacks, and believe that testing needs to be done to either confirm or rule out such theories. David's just going to perform an HIV test here on the animal. I'll just zoom out so we can get the horse's head in there. What he's done is he's taken some blood into this small pipette and he's going to put it on the tray, 1 drop. The next part is for him to add 2 to 3 drops of this dilutant.
2. 3.
And then within 10 minutes the result will appear on the tray. That's as far as it can go. A chap called Dr. Philip Duke in the United States, who's absolutely convinced that, at least in some mutilation cases, the purpose is to grow HIV antibodies. So, as I say, that one on the left there, that will be negative, and 2 lines for positive.
I must point out that Dr. Duke is considering it's more likely to be a bovine animal, like obviously a cow, so we're not sure whether this will be applicable to horses, but we're doing the test just to see anyway.
Well, we've got the 1 line coming up there, David, can you see it? As you can see, it's definitely a negative test. And this animal, this blood's been exposed for 24 hours, so it may, I don't know how long the HIV can last outside the body.
That's
that
true,
might be relevant, but certainly it's a negative test, so we've done, at least we've done one of the tests that we came here to do.